Good afternoon, Don't Unfriend Me Nation. There are not many things that are more frowned upon, looked down upon, castigated in a negative light, making you lower than refuse, lower than snake shit, the dregs of society as stolen valor. Any veteran will tell you, we've all heard it. And it usually starts with, oh yeah, you did that? Let me tell you what I did. Yeah, there was a firefight in Ding Dang. I was with SEAL Team 6 as a force recon paratrooping airborne SAR swimmer. I could tell you which SEALs class I was with, but unfortunately, I went through and they skipped me through buds because I was so prolific at what I did. I went right to SEAL course, SEAL class training. And that class number is classified. Dude, I just asked you what buds class you went through. You can't tell me that? It's common knowledge. Anybody with a nickel and a stick of gum can go ahead and blow bubbles and get that. Can't tell me? No, it's top secret. Is it classified? What type of classification? Is it code word classified? It is. What's the jump tower look like at Benning? I can't tell you. It's classified. Okay. Who was your swim buddy? Who was your instructor? Which coast were you on? Which number was your team? I was in Team 3 on the East Coast. Really? I thought they were on the West Coast. This is before they moved. These people are all over the place. And you expect it. And honestly, you don't say anything. I would never really challenge anyone who was on the teams because I wasn't on the teams. It wasn't my job to do that. My job was to support the teams. I was a support guy. It doesn't mean I didn't do fun things, and it doesn't mean I didn't do cool things and would challenge the average human being, but that doesn't make me a SEAL. Just like if you throw an airborne rocker on your uniform, you're not necessarily a ranger or special forces. Just because you went through the crucible doesn't make you a force recon Marine. Just because you drank Earl Grey tea doesn't make you British SAS. Why do I bring it up? Because I really don't like stolen valor, and I don't like people who do it. Usually it's the person that talks the most is usually the most full of, well, you know. And I talk a lot, but I don't talk a lot about my service. Rarely do I. If you ask, I'll tell you. I did more than some, and I did less than most. I did my time. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I would have loved to have done it forever, but unfortunately that was not the case. And I think most veterans will always tell you the reason why they don't park in veteran parking spots, you know, the ones reserved in front of Babies R Us and Home Depot, is because we believe, most veterans, that somebody out there always did more than us. And just in case that passerby decides to frequent the same establishment that we do, we want to ensure that space is empty. That's why I don't go into it. I don't know about you, but there are reasons why veterans do things. I felt a calling to do this show because people like Joe Biden say and do things that aren't true. And I guess we've come to expect that from politicians, but I never thought I would see, hear, or predict that Joseph R. Biden, a person who didn't serve a day in the military, who often lies about his son's service and what they did, and really has not done much for the military, minus some MRAP vehicles, which are actually important, and it's good that he signed that legislation, but not much else. But for him to steal valor from Donald Trump, who also didn't serve, but in my opinion, took care of veterans beyond reproach. Anybody who wants to have that conversation, we can do that live, 8 o'clock on the Don't Unfriend Me show. Come on and have a conversation with me. I'd love to tell you all the things he did for veterans. But that's not what this is about. It's about one piece of information where Joe Biden is taking responsibility and taking credit for the 988 Veteran Crisis Hotline. The 988 Veteran Crisis Hotline number, he says that he's saved 5 million people's lives and helped save 5 million people's lives by implementing this number. And that very well may be true. I haven't gotten the recent report from VCL, Veteran Crisis Line. But I will tell you the reason why it's in existence has nothing to do with Joseph R. Biden. It has everything to do with Donald J. Trump, who passed this legislation and had it go in effect in 2022. Now, how do I know this? Well, because I have done over 500, tonight 501, and I will end the show the way I always end the show, with the Veteran Crisis Hotline number at the end of this segment. Even though I get hit with copyright violations and will never make a dime off this on YouTube, I don't care. I put it on because if it saves one life, that's important. I have worked with countless military veterans on this show, having a conversation from top to bottom, ensuring that they are okay. That if they are demonstrating those warning signs, that we can have that conversation live, or we can turn the show off and just talk in private. I've received countless text messages from veterans asking for help during the hardest times on Veterans Day, on Memorial Day, or when Afghanistan was so casually and haphazardly turned over by Joe Biden, giving up 21 years of effort that was all for naught, minus the lives it left behind. The Veteran Crisis Hotline I have worked with, we've made wooden flags for through companies I've worked with. I've donated money to them, and I will always be a supporter of their number. And you can find it here at the end of every single show, and also find it on the top of my website every single day of the week, anytime you want. And what I will tell you is Joe Biden had nothing to do with it. It's a blatant lie. What I would ask from Joe Biden is to try to celebrate, if you can find any, accomplishments that you are responsible for, where you talk about the highest job growth rate, but you don't consider all the lockdowns and how many jobs were lost, bringing manufacturing jobs over, which was started by Donald Trump, but your predecessor said those jobs will never come back. How you talk about inflation going down, but you're the one that made it go up. Talking about energy and gas prices with your regulation and the things that you did to the drilling company with leases on land that was vacated or holes that weren't profitable for these companies to drill for. Your horrible border policies. And yes, overall opioid crisis may have went down, but fentanyl crisis is on the rise, and so is illegal immigration. All for naught with the policies that you wiped away. And you can sit and take credit for Donald Trump's insulin package that you let lapse and then simply re-implemented, and take credit that you were responsible for that. You see, Joe, all you had to do was not screw around with anything. You didn't have to touch anything. We were on a trajectory to get back to pre-COVID numbers, which were the best in U.S. history ever across every single board. But no, you decided to go ahead and play grab ass, impose regulation on small business, lock us down, and put us in a spiral until you realized and you looked down at what you had made and decided to try to put the proverbial caca back in the horse by allowing schools to reopen, businesses to reopen, knocking off the stupid vaccine mandates, and deregulating small business. These things are what created a positive economy, or at least the inkling of it. But the remnants of what you've left behind with a federal interest rate, which is throttling the real estate market and the private industry, with manufacturing costs and product costs on the rise, as inflation may be going down, but the overall valuation of a person's dollar is not what it was. In fact, everybody's paying more than they did last year and the year before and the year before that because of what you've done. In fact, our economy will never be the same, or at least in the generation that votes for you, that is just for a few more years the most important, will never see what they saw under Donald Trump. You need to stop taking credit for the things you didn't do and start taking responsibility for the things you did do. And we will go out like we always do with the Veteran Crisis Hotline, and you can dial 988 to ensure you get a hold of somebody at the Veteran Crisis Hotline. Anxiety, depression, TBI, PTSD are all very real. Veterans need your help, and they don't necessarily need you to steal their valor when you did nothing to help them and have done nothing to help them for the sacrifices that they've made. Joe Biden, there are a lot of things you've done, but this one is pretty freaking low. Folks, thanks for watching tonight. We'll be on at 8 o'clock. Can't wait to see you. Stop on by. Say hello to the Don't Unfriend Me show, if you would not mind. Olivia, myself, Leroy, and Amy will all be on, and we cannot wait to see you. We are out of here. I will see you tomorrow. Please do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. Like I said, stop by the Don't Unfriend Me store. Pick yourself up a cool shirt, a hat, a coffee mug, or some coffee. We would love to have you do that. See you tonight. Remember, my name is Matthew Spear. I am the host of Don't Unfriend Me. I forgot that, but that's okay. See you tonight.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important, you are important.
For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call